Hello, this is Winston Gunningham. It is July the 20th, 2026. And um, my air conditioner at home is having problems. It's running too loud, so I decided to just do this video from the car on sitting in the parking lot at the YMCA, partially in the shade. But if I wore sunglasses, I couldn't see my eyes. Anyway, what I'd like to talk about today is, and I was a little bit unprepared because I forgot to bring something to hold the phone. So I'm just having to hold it, and if I wiggle too much, I'm sorry. What I'd like to talk about today is what produces wisdom. Knowledge that is used productively produces wisdom. When we take in information, it holds the possibility of becoming knowledge, depending on how it's used. As we use what we know, then we produce wisdom. And so the going through infancy, adolescence, adulthood, and finally old age, which is wisdom, and I'm in that stage right now. But everybody, no matter how much experience they've had or the lack of experience they've had, everybody has things that they know. So I like to encourage people to use what they know, because it is in using what you know that you produce wisdom. David in the Bible represents reasoning, which is a prelude to wisdom in other ways. Most of the people that you talk to are mostly rationalizing. A step above that is reasoning, which uses memory, imagination, and attention. The memory to see where you've been and what you have already gained so that you can add something to it. The future is created in your imagination, naturally. So what we really have is the present moment. Reasoning uses memory plus imagination and attention to put us alertly in the present moment. And it is in being alert that you find out new things, even at times when you're not really looking, because at some point back there you ask a question, and you may not be paying attention when the answer comes, because the answer comes through your own soul that creates your experiences according to your wishes. Because your subconscious mind is not your judge, it is your soulmate. It helps you by finding what it is that you want. Your subconscious mind doesn't say, hey, this may not be good for you. It just says, you want it, you got it. So we create the good stuff in ourselves by asking questions and putting to use what we learn from our experiences and producing wisdom over and over again. And a person doesn't have to be a man sitting with his crossed legs on a mountaintop to have wisdom, because everybody has some wisdom. So start with appreciating the wisdom that you already have, and producing further wisdom. You practice using what you know, not what you believe, what you know. Because it is in setting out to prove what you believe that you discover what you know. Because now, if you remember when you were a small child, you may have seen other people riding a bicycle and say, well, that looks neat. I bet I could do that. You could feel like you could do it because you saw other people doing it. Not rocket science. So, but the child does not know that he can ride the bicycle. He can believe that he can ride a bicycle because he sees other people doing it. But until he gets on it, he don't know. And so pay attention to what you're stimulated to prove. Rather than carrying on every other day or another day just with the simple fact of believing, which is, believing is necessary, but it's not enough. Not enough. You've got to have proof, and the proof can only come through your own experience. You can hear it, you can see it, you can read it, but until you experience it, you can't really see how it works, and that knowing that comes from, you know what it's like to be rained on. You may not have always known that. And it can be good, bad, or ugly, depending on how you look at it. I got a friend that don't use an umbrella. He said, oh, it's just water, it's just rain. So he practices accepting things the way they are, and he does a good job of it. And he climbs rocks, mountains, and so forth. Sent me some pictures the other day. He was up in Colorado and then in Wyoming, playing on the rocks, sitting on top of the hill, which in language of mine represents meeting a challenge. Because mountains are, the higher we climb, the better we can see. The more we can see. It's like the whole process is like climbing a ladder. Each step you take up the rung of the ladder, you have a little bit different view. You can see a little bit more than you could before. So it's not about competing with someone else and learning more than somebody else or being smarter than someone else or being wiser than somebody else. It's not about that. It's about adding something to what you already have. Like the parable of the talents. For him who has, more will be given. For him who has not, even what he thinks he has will be taken away. So it just depends on whether you want to think about what you want or what you don't want. I see people thinking about what they want, what they don't want enough or constantly, so that they're creating more and more of what they do not want. There are 4 stages of growth, and no matter what you're learning, you will go through each of these stages. Infancy, adolescence, adulthood, old age, which is wisdom. And if you carefully examine the age groups, that normally represents these stages of growth. Although it's not really tied into age, but you can get some idea how this works through that. When Jesus said, approach everything as little children, or come to me as little children. Now, me represents when you finish an experience and you can see the relevance of it. And you can say, oh, that's me. And that's what he was talking about. He was not encouraging you to put him on a pedestal. He was encouraging you to listen to what he was saying, because he was making progress and said, you can do this too. He was showing us how. He was the way shower. I heard somebody reading it's amusing, sad but amusing, the AI taking over a lot. But there was somebody reading the text from either from Edgar Cayce or one of those people, and somebody was reading from a transcript, and they come to the way shore, and he pronounced it way shower. So that the AI misses the subtlety, and that's one of the reasons I don't care much for it. It just gives the consensus of opinion, which no matter how many people believe something, does not make it true. And I know some things that are true that most people do not know, because I've set out to prove it. Because what led me to the School of Metaphysics is truth wasn't important enough for me that I had to have it. So I hooked up with the place, the School of Metaphysics, that showed me everything I needed to know about how to determine what is true and how to go deeper in myself. Wisdom is available, and wisdom is good. Wisdom is good. You'll find yourself offering to other people some wisdom that you've come to because you have gone the extra steps to pay attention to how something works. And so one of the advantages of having this information, which goes through knowledge and wisdom, if it's used, or as it is used, one of the benefits is you can pass this along to other people. And there may not be a lot of people that are open to it, but there will be some. It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile. Infancy, adolescence, adulthood, old age, and wisdom. I've covered this before, but let me just cover it again. Jesus became the adult spiritually by putting the conscious ego, the devil, in its place and where it belongs, behind him, rather than in front, holding him back. This is when he moved from adolescence to adulthood in spirituality, and this is how anybody does. And if you will simply observe, you'll see that many people are thinking they're almost finished with the whole process and haven't really begun because they're still in adolescence. Adolescents say, you prove it to me, or I won't even believe it. So they're confused about the steps to enlightenment. And I like the book Dreams of the Soul, Yogi Sutras of Patanjali, for that reason, because he points out the steps that takes toward enlightenment. And you can kind of, once you read through this book, you'll get a pretty good idea of where you are in the process of development. And you can get as far as you want by putting in the work. And people who are just still mired in religion only, they have no way of they haven't been exposed to discipline. So it is discipline. It is the use of will. Making more correct choices than incorrect choices produces willpower. And willpower used, for instance, using what you know, takes willpower and turns into wisdom. And wisdom in one area can serve you in ways that you're still learning about other things. So there's benefits. Like I go to the YMCA every day, and I notice a lot of people are here and they work out. They're disciplined in that they are doing regular exercises, and since they are doing regular exercises, there are things that they can do as a result of that they couldn't do if they just sitting home on the couch. So it's a little bit like this. The more you use what you know, the more you gain wisdom. And the more wisdom you share, the more opportunities there are to learn more. So the learning continues and continues and continues. Using knowledge or using information produces knowledge. Using knowledge produces wisdom. This is Winston Cunningham. That's all for today. Thank you.